the woods anymore, and I used to. You know, that normal kind of feeling, walking through trees, fresh air, quiet. It feels peaceful at first, too peaceful. And that's the thing no one really talks about. The deeper you go, the quieter it gets. Not in a relaxing way. In a way where it feels like something is missing. No wind, no birds, no sound, just you and the forest. I didn't think much of it the first time. Neither did my friend. We thought we just went a little too far off the trail. Nothing serious. People get lost all the time, right? But after what happened, I don't think you get lost in places like that. I think something else happens, and it doesn't happen right away. It starts small. A path that wasn't there before. A sound that doesn't feel right. A feeling that you're not the only one there. So yeah, these aren't just random scary stories. These are things that happen when you go a little too deep into the woods. This happened to a friend of mine. At least, that's how he tells it now. He said it started completely normal. Just a hike. Late afternoon. Nothing crazy. He knew the trail. Had been there before. Even had the route saved on his phone. The kind of place where you don't expect anything to go wrong. He walked for about an hour. Maybe a bit more. Just following the main path. Everything felt fine. And quiet. But normal. Then he noticed it. A second path, narrow, barely visible, branching off from the main trail. He told me the weird part wasn't that it was there. It was that he was sure it wasn't there before. Like he would have noticed it. It wasn't overgrown. It wasn't blocked. It looked used, clean, almost inviting. He stopped for a second, just staring at it, trying to remember if he'd seen it on the map. He hadn't, and that's where he probably should have turned back. But he didn't. He told himself it was just a side trail, or maybe a shortcut, maybe something new. So yeah, he stepped off the main path and went deeper, and looking back at it now, that's exactly when everything changed. He said the first thing he noticed was how easy it was to walk. No branches in the way, no uneven ground, no roots to step over, just a smooth, narrow path, almost maintained, which doesn't make sense for something that wasn't on the map. He kept going. At first, it felt like he made the right choice, quieter, cleaner, like he found a better route. But then he realized something. He hadn't seen a single footprint, not one. No signs of other hikers, no broken branches, no trash, nothing. And yet, the path was perfect. My friend told me that's when it started to feel off. Because trails exist for a reason. People use them. They leave signs. But this one felt like it was made without anyone walking on it. He slowed down, looked around. Trees on both sides. Close. Too close. Like they were tighter than before. He thought about turning back, just to be safe. And yeah, that's when he noticed something that really bothered him. The path behind him didn't look the same anymore. He turned around slowly, not panicking yet, just checking. Because that's what you do, right? You go a little off trail, you look back, you make sure you can return the same way. Simple. Except it wasn't. He told me the path behind him was still there. Same direction, same shape, but something felt wrong about it. The trees didn't line up the same way. Branches he remembered stepping around weren't there anymore. And the light, that late afternoon light filtering through the trees, looked different, darker, like he had gone further than he thought. He stood there for a few seconds, trying to make sense of it, trying to remember if he just wasn't paying attention before. Because your brain does that. It fills in gaps. It convinces you everything is normal. But this didn't feel like that. This felt like something had changed. Not drastically. Not obviously. Just enough. Just enough to make him question himself. And yeah, that's when he made the decision. He said, I'll just go a little further, then turn back. Which sounds reasonable. But looking back now, that's exactly what kept him going deeper. Because every time he thought about turning around, the path ahead looked easier than the one behind him. He kept walking, not fast, not slow, just steady, trying not to think too much about it, trying to keep it normal. But that's when he noticed something else. The sound, or the lack of it. At first he didn't realize, because silence in the woods isn't unusual. But this wasn't normal silence. There were no birds, no insects, no wind in the trees. Nothing. Just his own footsteps. And even those felt wrong. Too soft. Like the ground was absorbing the sound. He stopped, just to check, completely still. And the silence didn't change, didn't shift, didn't react. It stayed exactly the same, heavy, flat. My friend told me that's when it hit him. The forest wasn't quiet. It was empty. Not no people empty, something else. Like nothing was supposed to be there at all. He swallowed it down, told himself it was just deeper woods, less wildlife, less movement, something explainable. But even now, when he talks about it, he always says the same thing. That silence didn't feel natural. It felt like something had already cleared everything out before he got there. He told me the first sound came out of nowhere. Not loud, not sudden, just there, a step, somewhere in the trees. My chest tightened when he described it because he said it didn't sound far, not deep in the forest, closer. Like something moving just off the path. He stopped, listened, nothing. Just that same heavy silence again. He waited a few seconds, trying to figure out if he imagined it. Because at that point, you start doubting yourself. You tell yourself it's just a branch, an animal, something normal. So he started walking again, and then another sound, a step, same direction, same distance. But this time, it didn't match him. He slowed down. The sound didn't. He stopped. The sound stopped too, exactly when he did. He told me that's when it stopped feeling random, because animals don't do that. They don't move in sync like that. They don't pause exactly when you pause. And yeah, that's when he realized something he didn't want to accept. Whatever was in the trees wasn't just moving near him. It was reacting to him. He didn't run. That's the weird part. He said it didn't feel like something chasing him. Not yet. So he kept walking, a little faster, trying to act normal and trying not to show anything. And the sound followed. Step, pause, step, same side, same distance, always just off the path, never closer, never farther, perfectly consistent. My chest tightened when he told me that part, because that's worse than something rushing you. That means it's choosing not to. We tried to test it, walked slower. The sound stayed the same, walked faster, same, stopped completely. Silence. Then, after a second, one step, like it waited, just to move again. He told me that's when it really hit him. This wasn't random movement. This wasn't something wandering nearby. It was staying with him, keeping position, like it knew exactly where he was at all times, and didn't need to get closer, because it already knew how far it needed to be. At that point, he made a decision. Get off the path, because whatever it was following along it, not cutting across, not rushing through the trees, just staying parallel. So he thought, if I step off the trail, I break the pattern. Makes sense, right? He slowed down, looked to the side. Dense trees, branches, uneven ground, normal forest, nothing like the path. He hesitated for a second, then stepped off. Immediately, everything felt different. The ground was harder to walk on, branches brushing against him, noise coming back, just a little, like the forest was real again. For a second, he felt relief, because that's how it should be. Messy, unpredictable, natural. Then, a step, same direction, same distance, still there, not on the path anymore, and the trees with him. My chest tightened when he told me that, because that meant it wasn't following the trail, it was following him. And in that moment, he realized something he hadn't before. The path wasn't guiding him. It was just keeping him where it wanted him. He kept pushing through the trees, branches catching on his clothes, ground uneven, harder to walk, exactly how a forest is supposed to feel. And for a moment, he thought he did the right thing, because at least now, it felt real again. Then he stepped forward and stopped. The path was in front of him again. Same narrow trail, same smooth ground, like he had never left it. My chest tightened when he told me that, because there's no way that happens naturally. He hadn't turned, hadn't looped. He went straight through the trees, and yet he was back on it. He looked behind him, no clear way back, just trees, no path, no opening, nothing. He stood there for a few seconds, trying to process it, trying to figure out if he somehow walked in a curve without noticing. But deep down, he already knew, because this time, the path didn't feel like a trail anymore. It felt placed, like it was always exactly where he needed it to be. Then a step, closer this time, not matching the distance anymore. My chest tightened, because now it didn't need to stay back. And in that moment, something became undeniable. He wasn't finding the path anymore. The path was finding him. He didn't move right away, just stood there, staring down the trail. Because now, everything felt too controlled, too perfect, like nothing around him was random anymore. Then, he heard it again. But this time, it wasn't in the trees. It was on the path, behind him, clear, heavy. A step on the same ground he was standing on. My chest tightened when he told me that, Because that's the moment everything changes. When whatever was staying just out of sight decides it doesn't need to anymore. He didn't turn. He said he already knew. If he looked, he'd see it. And he wasn't ready for that. Another step. Closer. Same surface. Same direction. No branches. No leaves. Just that clean, flat sound right behind him. He started walking again. Faster. The sound followed, now perfectly aligned with the path. With him. No more distance. No more separation. And in that moment, he realized something he didn't want to accept. It wasn't staying off the path anymore, because it didn't need to hide. He started moving faster, not running yet, but close, because now it wasn't behind the trees. It was right there, on the same path, same direction, same ground, step, 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 closer every time. My chest tightened when he told me this part, because he said he didn't even want to check anymore. He just needed the path to end, to reach something, anything. The main trail, an opening, a sign, something real. Then it did. The path ended. Abruptly. No transition. No merge. Just stopped. In the middle of the forest, my chest tightened. Because trails don't just end like that. Not clean. Not without reason. He slowed down. Instinct. Bad instinct. Because behind him, the steps didn't slow. They stayed steady. Same pace. Same direction. He looked forward again. Nothing. Just trees. Dense. Closed. No way through. And in that moment, he realized something too late. The path wasn't leading him anywhere. It was bringing him to a place where he couldn't go any further. And whatever was behind him, I finally could. That's where the second story starts. And this didn't happen to him. This one, I heard from someone I actually worked with. We were talking about weird stuff, late shift. You know how it goes. And he just casually mentioned it like it was nothing. Said he used to go hiking a lot. Alone. Deep woods. Same kind of place. Quiet. Isolated. No signal. And at first, nothing weird. Just normal hiking until one day he heard his name. My chest tightened when he told me that. Because it wasn't shouted. It wasn't distant. It sounded close. Like someone just behind a tree. Soft. Calm. Hey. Then his name. Exactly how people say it. Exactly the tone. Familiar. He turned. Nothing there. Just trees. Same as always. He stood still for a second, trying to figure out if he imagined it. Because again, that's what your brain does. It tries to explain, but then it came again. From a different direction. Same voice. Same tone. Same familiarity. And that's when he told me something that stuck with me. He said it didn't sound like someone calling him. It sounded like something trying to remember how to. He said the next part is what really messed with him, because the voice didn't stay the same. At first, it was just neutral, close, familiar enough to get your attention, but not enough to recognize. Then it changed. Subtle at first. The tone shifted. The way it said his name became more specific, more personal, like it was adjusting, trying something. He told me he didn't react right away, just stood there, listening, trying to place it. Then it called again. This time, it sounded like his friend. Same pitch, same way of speaking. Even the slight pause before his name. exact. My chest tightened when he told me that, because that's not something you mistake. You know how your friends sound. You recognize it instantly. But the problem was, that friend wasn't there, wasn't even in the same city. He said that's when he felt it, that shift from confusion to something else. Because now, it wasn't just a sound in the woods. It was something choosing a voice he would trust. He told me the worst part wasn't hearing the voice. It was the way the voice started moving, not disappearing, not fading, just getting further into the woods. Hey, come here. Same voice, his friend's voice, calm, casual, like nothing was wrong. He said he actually took a step forward before he realized what he was doing. That's what scared him the most. It didn't feel like a decision. It felt automatic, like hearing someone familiar call your name and just following. That's the dangerous part, not fear. Trust. The voice came again, a little further away this time. Hey, I'm over here. My chest tightened when he told me that because I could already see where this was going. He said he almost followed it. Almost. But then he did something smart. He pulled out his phone and texted that same friend, just to check the message sent. And a few seconds later, a reply came back. I'm at home. What's up? He stopped walking immediately, didn't answer, didn't move, because at that exact moment, the voice in the woods said his name again. Only this time, it was closer, much closer. And it didn't sound like it was calling him anymore. It sounded like it was checking if he was still listening. He didn't answer the message, didn't move, just stood there, holding his phone, staring into the trees, because now it wasn't about figuring out what the voice was. It was about not reacting to it. The forest was quiet again, too quiet. Then the voice came back, same direction, same distance, but different, subtle. The tone shifted, softer, more careful, like it was adjusting. Hey, it's me. Don't worry. My chest tightened when he told me that, because that's not something random. That's something trying to calm you down, trying to make you feel safe. He didn't respond, didn't step forward, just stayed still, watching, listening. Then the voice changed again, slightly more urgent. Why did you stop? He swallowed hard, because that's when it hit him. It wasn't just calling him, it was reacting to him, learning. He didn't move, didn't give it anything. No steps, no sound, nothing. And for a moment, the forest went completely silent again. Then, one last time, it said his name. Perfect, clear, closer than before. And in that moment, something became undeniable. It wasn't trying to find him anymore. It already knew exactly where he was. He stayed completely still, didn't answer, didn't react. Because at that point he knew any response would only make it worse. The forest stayed quiet for a few seconds. Then the voice came back again. But this time, it didn't call his name. It said something else, something personal, something specific. My chest tightened when he told me this part, because it wasn't random. It wasn't guessing anymore. It mentioned something only he would know. A conversation he had with that same friend a long time ago. Something small, something meaningless, but private. He said the moment he heard that, everything changed. And because now, It wasn't just copying a voice. It knew things, things it shouldn't, things that weren't out there in the open. He took a step back, slow, careful, trying not to make noise, trying not to react. But inside, he was already panicking. Because now, this wasn't something in the woods. This was something that knew him. And in that moment, something became undeniable. It wasn't trying to sound like his friend anymore. It was trying to prove that it could be. He didn't say anything, didn't ask questions, didn't try to understand it. Because at that point, there was nothing left to explain. He just started walking, backwards, slow, careful, not turning around, because he didn't want to lose track of where the voice was coming from, or where it thought he was. The forest stayed silent for a few seconds. And then the voice came back, but this time it was wrong, not just slightly off, completely. The tone dropped, the rhythm broke, like it wasn't trying to sound human anymore, like it didn't need to. Stay. My chest tightened when he told me that, because it wasn't asking, it wasn't pretending, it was telling him. He didn't stop, didn't even slow down, just kept moving. Then, another word, same voice, but distorted now, like something breaking through it. Don't leave. He kept walking, faster now, branches snapping under his feet, no longer trying to stay quiet, because whatever that was wasn't hiding anymore. And in that moment, something became undeniable. It didn't need to copy someone he trusted. It had already learned enough to try to control him. He turned around, finally, and just started walking. Not careful anymore, not quiet, just moving. Because at that point, it didn't matter how much noise he made. Whatever that was, already knew where he was. Branches snapped under his feet. Leaves shifted. The forest finally sounded alive again, but only because of him. Then he heard it. Not a voice this time. Movement in the trees. Same direction, same pace. My chest tightened when he told me this, because it wasn't chasing him. It wasn't trying to catch up. It was matching him, step for step, position for position, just staying there, parallel. He sped up. The movement did too. He slowed down. Same, perfectly aligned. And that's worse than something running at you, because that means it's choosing not to. Choosing the distance, choosing the moment. He said he didn't look again, didn't want to see it, because now he didn't need to. He could feel exactly where it was, just off to the side, just out of view, moving with him. And in that moment, something became undeniable. It wasn't following him anymore. It was walking with him. He kept going, faster now, not even trying to stay quiet, just pushing through the trees, trying to create distance. But that's when something changed. The movement shifted. It wasn't beside him anymore. It moved ahead. My chest tightened when he told me that, because that means one thing. It wasn't tracking him. It was repositioning. He slowed down slightly, trying to listen. And there it was. Not to the side, not behind, in front, somewhere deeper in the woods, waiting. He stopped. The forest went silent again. Then, a single step in front of him, slow, clear, on the same ground he was about to walk on. It He didn't move, didn't step forward, didn't respond, because now he understood something. If he kept going, he wouldn't be following a path anymore. He'd be walking straight toward it. He took a step back instead, slow, careful, and the sound didn't move. It stayed there, in front, exactly where he had been heading. And in that moment, something became undeniable. It wasn't trying to catch him. It was trying to lead him. He stepped back, slow, careful, not taking his eyes off the space in front of him, because whatever was there had stopped, waiting, not moving, not reacting, just holding position. Then the voice came back, but not from the front, from behind him. My chest tightened when he told me that, because that's impossible. There's no way something moves from in front of you to behind you without making a sound, without crossing you. And yet, it did. Hey, same voice again, but now completely wrong, broken, uneven, like it wasn't even trying anymore. He didn't turn, didn't react, just stood there. Because now it didn't matter where it was. Then another step, behind him, closer. Then another one, in front, at the same time. My chest tightened, because now it wasn't in one place. It was both, surrounding him, testing him. And in that moment, something became undeniable. It didn't need to choose a position anymore, because wherever he decided to go, it would already be there. He didn't move, didn't turn, because at that point, direction didn't matter anymore. Front, back, side, it was all the same. Then the voice changed again, not his friend, not distorted, not broken, his. My chest tightened when he told me that, because he said it was exact, same tone, same way he speaks, same pauses, everything. Hey, it's okay. He froze, because that's not something you can ignore. Hearing your own voice from somewhere you're not. Then it said his name, the way he says it. And when he talks to himself, quiet, under his breath. Just walk. He swallowed hard, because that's what he was thinking. Exactly that. At that moment. And it said it first. Then his body reacted. A step forward. Unwanted. Uncontrolled. Like something triggered it. He stopped immediately. Forced himself back. But it didn't matter. Because now, it wasn't copying someone else. It wasn't guessing anymore. It was inside his head. And in that moment, something became undeniable. It didn't need to call him anymore. It could tell him what to do in his own voice. He shut it out. Not physically. Not completely. But he made a decision right there not to listen anymore. Didn't matter what it said. Didn't matter how real it sounded. Didn't matter whose voice it used. He just started moving, straight, through the trees. No path, no direction, just a way. Branches hit his arms, round, uneven, hard to walk. But that was good. That felt real. That felt like something he could control. The voices came back, behind him, in front of him, even to the side, changing, switching, trying different tones, different people, different ways to get his attention. He ignored all of it, didn't respond, didn't react, didn't even slow down. My chest tightened when he told me that part, because that's the only thing that worked. Not fighting it, not understanding it, just not giving it anything. No reaction, no attention, Nothing. And slowly, the voices got quieter, less consistent, less precise, like they were losing something. And in that moment, something became clear. It didn't need him to believe it. It needed him to respond. He kept going. Didn't stop. Didn't think. Just moving forward, pushing through the trees, ignoring everything behind him. And for a while, it worked. The voices faded. The movement stopped. The forest almost felt normal again. Not quiet in that unnatural way. Just empty. Like any deep part of the woods. My chest tightened when he told me this part. Because that's when people relax. That's when they think it's over. Then he noticed something. The trees. They didn't look the same. At first he thought it was just disorientation. Everything looked similar in the woods. But this was different. The spacing changed. The way the branches leaned. Even the ground felt slightly off. He slowed down. Bad idea. Because the moment he did, everything felt tighter, closer, like the space around him had adjusted, not moved quickly, not obviously, just enough to make him feel like he wasn't walking through the forest anymore. The forest was moving around him, and in that moment, something became undeniable. It wasn't trying to stop him. It was trying to keep him in the same place, no matter how far he walked. He kept pushing forward. Didn't slow down this time. Didn't give himself a chance to think. Because every time he stopped, something changed. So he just moved straight through whatever was in front of him, branches, roots, uneven ground. Didn't matter. Then, suddenly, it was there again, the path. Same one. Narrow, smooth, clean. Exactly like before. My chest tightened when he told me that. Because that means one thing. He didn't find it. It found him. He stopped. Just for a second. Looking at it. Trying to understand how he ended up back there. Because he had been walking off it. Deep into the trees. No turns, no loops. Just straight. And yet, there it was. Waiting. Exactly where he stepped next. He didn't step onto it this time. He didn't move forward. Just stood there. Because now, he understood something. The path wasn't leading him out. It was resetting him. Bringing him back to where everything started. And in that moment, something became undeniable. No matter how far he went, he wasn't getting out. He was just being moved back into place. He didn't want to step onto it. Not again. But he couldn't just stand there either. So he looked up, further down the path, and that's when he saw it. Someone, standing there, still, facing away. My chest tightened when he told me that. Because up until that moment, whatever was out there never showed itself clearly. It stayed hidden, used voices, used distance, used everything except form. But now, there it was. A person. Or at least, something shaped like one. Same height, same build, just standing there, on the path, not moving, not reacting, just waiting. He didn't call out, didn't ask anything, because at this point, he already knew better. And then, very slowly, it tilted his head, not turning fully, just enough. Like it heard him, like it knew he was there. And in that moment, something became undeniable. It wasn't trying to hide anymore, because it didn't need to. He had already gone far enough that seeing it wouldn't make a difference. He didn't move, didn't speak, just stared, because part of him still hoped it was just another person, another hiker, someone lost like him. Then it turned, slow, controlled, facing him completely. My chest tightened when he told me this, because he didn't hesitate when he said it. He knew exactly what he saw. It was him. Same face, same clothes, same expression. Perfect. Not similar, not close. Exact. Like looking into a mirror, just standing a few meters away. He said the worst part wasn't how it looked. It was how normal it felt. Like his brain didn't reject it. It didn't panic right away. Just accepted it. For a second. Like it made sense. Then it smiled. Slight. Controlled. The way he does. Without thinking. And his body reacted. A small movement in his face. Unwanted. Mirroring it. My chest tightened. Because that means one thing. It wasn't just copying him. It was syncing with him. And in that moment, something became undeniable. It didn't find him in the woods. It had been building toward him until it could finally stand in front of him as him. He didn't step forward, didn't step back. He just stood there. Because now, there was nowhere to go that made sense. The thing in front of him still looked exactly like him, still smiling slightly, still calm. Then it moved, not toward him, not away, to the side, stepping off the path, into the trees. My chest tightened when he told me that, because that breaks the pattern. Everything before stayed on the path, used it, followed it. But this left it, like it didn't need it anymore, like it wasn't part of the same rules. It stepped into the forest and disappeared between the trees. Gone, just like that. No sound, no movement, nothing. He stood there, waiting, listening, trying to understand what just happened. Then he felt it, behind him, that same presence, closer than before. And in that moment, something became undeniable. It didn't need to stand in front of him anymore, because now it was behind him in the exact position he had been in just seconds ago. He didn't turn, not right away, because he already knew. That feeling behind him, that exact distance, that exact position, it was too familiar, too precise, like it had replaced him before he even moved. My chest tightened when he told me this part, because he said the worst thing you can do there is react too fast. So he stayed still, just for a second, trying to confirm it, trying to understand it. And then, very slowly, he stepped off the path, into the trees, same way it did, same direction, same movement. And the moment he did, he heard it, behind him, on the path, a step, his step, perfect, same sound, same rhythm. My chest tightened, because that means it didn't follow him. It stayed, exactly where he was. Then, another step, same pace, same position, still on the path. And in that moment, something became undeniable. It wasn't chasing him. It wasn't tracking him. It had taken his place in the only space that mattered there. He stayed off the path, didn't go back, didn't even look at it directly, just stood in the trees, breathing slowly, trying to stay focused on something real. The ground under his feet, the branches, anything that wasn't that trail. Then he heard it. Steps on the path, his steps, same rhythm, same weight, same exact sound. chest tightened when he told me that, because it wasn't random anymore. It wasn't following him. It was continuing without him. He slowly turned his head, just enough to see the path from the side, and that's when it got worse. The path was moving, not physically shifting like something obvious, but the perspective changed, the way it stretched forward, like it was extending deeper into the woods without him walking it and on it. That thing, walking perfectly like him. Same posture, same pace, moving forward into the forest. My chest tightened because now he wasn't on the path anymore, but something else was, as him. And in that moment, something became undeniable. He hadn't left the path. The path had just kept going without him. He didn't follow, didn't even think about it, because at that point, he knew better. You don't go where it goes. You don't follow anything in those woods. He just stood there, watching from the trees, watching the path stretch deeper, and that thing walking it, calm, natural, exactly like him. My chest tightened when he told me this part, because he said it didn't look wrong anymore, not distorted, not unnatural, just normal, like it had fully become him. It didn't hesitate, didn't look around, didn't react to anything, just walked further, deeper, until the trees swallowed it completely, gone. No sound, no movement, no trace, just the empty path again, and the forest, back to that same unnatural silence. He didn't move for a long time after that. Didn't step back onto the path, didn't speak, didn't react. Because now he understood something. And in that moment, something became undeniable. Whatever goes deeper into those woods doesn't come back, but something that looks like you might. He didn't find the trail back the normal way. That's the part he doesn't really explain. He just says, one moment he was still in the trees, and the next, he was back near the main path, like nothing happened, like he never went that deep. My chest tightens every time I think about it, because that's not how getting lost works. You don't just come back, not like that, not clean, not without consequences. He left the woods, didn't look back, didn't go hiking alone again, and honestly, I don't blame him. Because after hearing all this, after everything from the path, the voice, the thing that looked like him, there's one thing that sticks with me. It wasn't trying to trap him. It wasn't trying to chase him. It was trying to replace him. And it almost did. So yeah, if you ever find yourself in the woods and you see a path that shouldn't be there, or hear something calling your name, just don't follow it. Don't respond. And definitely don't go deeper. Because if you do, you might still walk out. But there's a chance it won't be you anymore. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, you already know why people say not to go too deep into the woods. And I'm actually curious, have you ever had a moment like that? Where something just felt off? Maybe a sound that didn't make sense. A path that didn't feel right. Or that feeling like something was there, even when you couldn't see it. Drop it in the comments. I read all of them. And if you're into these kinds of stories, real feeling, quiet, something's not right kind of horror, make sure you subscribe, because I've got more coming, and they only get worse. See you in the next one.